Hi Tim, it's just a quick video for you, for your eyes only sir, in a spoiler in advance. Let me turn the radio down. So used to working this together. Right, down you go. Say hello to the rabbit, there's the rabbit. Right, for your eyes only sir, what have I been up to since we last talked? Okay, so, whole front end is now painted. This is the finish. It is a satin, it's textured, there's no runs or anything nasty on it, but very tough. I'm quite happy with it. I'll be honest, I quite like it. My car there, looming at the back, boxing this one in, might end up with this treatment when I put new inner wings on it. I've blocked all the holes up with grommets. That's why it looks like it's got chocolate buttons all over the place. Sorted the brake lines out for the bulkhead, put all the brake lines back in again, obviously after painting. Put the loom in, you can see it here. So here's the loom, along with new headlight boxes. I'll go into that in a minute. Inside, again, it's all painted. Remove the box with all your nuts and bolts in it. It is all painted. It's a satin finish again. It's exactly the same texture as it is outside. You'll have to let me know your thoughts on it. I've bolted the driver's seat in because the steering column's going in tomorrow, because I want to get all these things connected up and I want to start testing the loom out. Headlining I left in because I was able to work one side or the other, but I've got the loom, body loom, right the way through to the back end now. There it is down there, dangling down there for the number plate lights and for the fuel tank. This side again, painted down here. Quite pleased with all this. I've got new door looms. Door looms on this had the old style connectors on them, the early connectors on them. New loom came with new connectors, and for an hour's worth of labour I bought a pair of looms. 50 quid they were. And to be honest, I think that's, well, if it was me, it's what I would have done. I wouldn't have pissed around trying to splice old to new, because I just put those looms into both doors, because the driver's door, the new driver's door, if you remember rightly, all the wires were cut in it, which is why your mirror wasn't working over there. And I think that's down to Manuel rather than anyone else. I've not bolted this door up yet, because I need to draw the loom through it, and I may have to take the other loom off as well. Now, this new loom comes with all the connectors for a heated windscreen, should you so desire, but I don't think you can actually use this during the arse end of winter, so I don't think it's going to be too much of a problem. This bulkhead area, I'm going to clean all this up and paint this. I'll just put a blanket over the engine and over the windscreen. I will paint all of this area because this is prone to light rusting. I've never seen these seriously rust, but I will paint it anyway. I'll do it the same texture as this stuff here. That's it really. My latest task now is I'm going through all your light fittings. So mirrors that you bought, fantastic, they'll go straight on. Got the right connectors. The rear lights that were on the car already did have fog light. Fog light's the one at the bottom there, so it did have the fog light in there. But the wiring, I guess, in the car are broken, which is why your garage kind of spliced into it and tried to get it working again, or someone spliced into it, tried to get it working again. But now I've got a new loom, I might as well go back to standard. The indicator units, front indicator units, have the wrong connector. Now, two options for this. I can either speak to other Tim and just get a new connector, the thing that goes in the back there. Have I got one that's off the car? I must have one that's off the car. These are all rear light units. There's, oh no. No, they're all rear ones, sorry. But basically this block here just unclips. And if other Tim has got these things that he's prepared to sell me, just these bits, then they will fit onto any of the 4 front indicator units that you've got. I don't unfortunately have any. The alternative is I just cut the 3 wires and I put bullets on. I've almost talked myself into it, haven't I? Because all I need to do, really, is cut that fella off there. Because that's the connector that goes onto it. Cut those three, put bullets on, and it all works. So I'm going to do that. Don't worry about the front indicators. Rear lights, however, is a bit more complicated. Because there's more lights, and that's the wrong connector. So I could do it with bullets. I might do it with bullets yet, but the connector that comes on the loom, the later loom, looks like that. And you see there's 1, 2, 5 wires into, 6 wires into that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wires into that. The number plate lights go off this thing here, so it doesn't include that. Let's keep that back under there again. So I'll have a fiddle around with that. So tomorrow, steering column, heater, dash top are going in. I'll get the mirrors on, and I'll probably, once the steering column's in and the heater's in, I want to kind of connect up the electrics and find out what works and what doesn't. There's in Range Rovers, they love putting things under the seats. There's a couple of looms. There's one here, which is completely unused on a TDI Range Rover, and that's all for the EFI. And there's one on the other side, which is a supplementary fuse box. I'm just going to coil those up, and I'm going to stick them beside the heater box. There's no wires going on the transmission tunnel. This is the thing I was talking to you about yesterday. So, it's not great, this thing, to be honest. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow the principle of a Suffolk Range Rover, which has a metal plate which goes over the majority and just has 2 holes for gaiters. And I'm going to find gaiters that go on there. So I'll make a piece of metal. If I take this frame off, I'll be able to cut a piece of metal out quite easily. It'll take me about half an hour tops to cut that out. Get it fitted, cut a couple of nice big holes in it, and then you'll have gaiters around your gear stick, or in gear at the moment. You'll have gaiters around the gear stick and the transfer box. That's that. I was going to say something else then, and I can't remember what the heck it was. It'll come to me, I'm sure. Yeah, well, I hope you like this review. I hope you're happy with what I've been up to. It has moved forward leaps and bounds. Really, the next key stage is to get the brakes on the back axle. Now I'm waiting for the self-leveling strut, because your self-leveling strut, which is around here somewhere, there, is as dead as a dodo. Dodo. You shouldn't be able to move that piston at all. That's dead. So I've ordered another one. The chap who's sending it is taking his sweet time, is all I can say. And I messaged him today. He's not come back to me. I might just have to buy another one and claim my money back. That's not a problem. I can do that. Oh, I know what I was going to say. I spoke to the chap who sold me this loom. Unfortunately, he had already sold the engine loom. That's not an issue. I've got all of the wiring colours on all of the connectors here, and I'm going to match them up to the wiring connectors and the colours on the existing loom. The existing loom is all sitting on top of the engine at the moment, and it looks a complete and utter mess, but it's actually not as bad as it might seem. There's only about 8 wires to go to a diesel engine, and most of those are sensors, and the start and stop. So the injector pumps down here, and there's the start wire down there, which is really very loose. I don't know quite how this thing worked, but it did. It definitely started. We saw it. Headlights. The chap who did your MOT, he butchered left-hand drive headlight bowls, which is why the headlights look like that. It's not the best idea. I mean, for the sake of 20 quid or so, and in fact I'm just investigating whether these headlight bowls will work. These are Wipac headlight bowls from a Land Rover that I had on the shelf. They may well work, and I've put one in there. If I can get the headlight unit fitted to that and I can adjust it, then the MOT man will be happy. And they're self-contained on the back. I might actually just cut the back off so that you can still access the bulbs through the back, because they do go right the way through the bulkhead down there. I think that's pretty much about it, really. The weather's rather inclement, but bordering on inclement. Damp bordering on wet, I think. But it's coming on. Hopefully you're pleased with the progress. It's what today? It's Tuesday. Is it Tuesday? It's the 30th. That'd be Wednesday. Silly arse. When you work 7 days a week, Tim, you have no idea what the day is. So it's Wednesday and 7 o'clock, and I'm just about to pack up now. I think it's been a good day. I got the whole loom in. Yesterday was really around welding and painting, getting all this lot sorted out. And today's really been around loom and getting all the brake lines and so forth back in. And tomorrow, there's going to be more of the same. I'm going to drop an email over to other Tim, and I'll CC you on it anyway, for bits I think I might need. So for instance, that blanking panel there, which used to be the pedal box, I've got the blanking panel from the other side, and it's handed, would you believe? That's a left-hand drive version. That won't fit onto this car, or will fit onto it, but I can't get the holes in the right place to feed the loom through. And I'm going to bullet connector those on. Can't be arsed with pissing around with them, because that's easy, because I've got thousands of bullet connectors and I've got thousands of the adapters, and for the cost of the extra bits, it'll be cheaper to do it that way. These are the I'll go into here, into my magical world of Richard's electrical saviours. These are the kind of the connectors. So that's the connector, and then the bullets are these things. Only crimp them onto the end of the cable. I've got 3 or 4 different sizes of bullets, and it makes it so you can remove it at some point in the future. I've got these fellas here, which allow you to splice a loom together, and they've got heat shrink around them, but I don't want to do that because you'll never get the damn thing apart again. This paint, by the way, it's quite nice. Goes on nice. This is the expansion bottle, that fella. Expansion bottle bracket, because I want to get that back in place. And yeah, I rust treated it earlier on today, and now I've just painted it. Ah, right, there we are, sir. Cheers. I know you don't drink, but I'm tempted to have one now at the end of this day. Wipers is the other thing I forgot. That was probably what I was going to mention just now. Wipers, the wipers you've got are for left-hand drive, so I need to get different wiper arms. The blades will be the same, but the arms will need to be ordered. I might actually have a pair, because you see they go on the different side of the bulkhead. Might actually have a pair, in which case you can have them. And the rear wiper, I think the motor's buggered. I don't know if you've ever seen this thing working. I don't think it works. The whole thing is just utterly fucking broken. Arm and everything. It's just shagged. So again, I'll see if I can find one of those for you. Thank you, sir. I have been enjoying this. It has been a privilege. You might not get this car back. I'm starting to fall for it. Quite like it. I'm going to get the back wheels on it. Once I get the Boge self-levelling strut in there, I can do the brake lines, bleed the brakes, and it can sit on all 4 wheels. But until then, I'm not bothering to put the back end on the ground, because it's just like, you know, you're doing work twice. And yeah, we're probably not that far off getting those rock sliders back. So once it's on the ground, I'll be able to see, oddly enough, because mine's parked right behind, how much lower it is. It's already looking a little bit lower, but I think it will go lower still. All right, Tim, speak again soon.